Hello, you're watching Up Your X, and let's talk about the Chinese drama. 我的秘密室友 Love in Time. This is a 24 episode drama that has recently finished airing on the platform 爱奇艺. The drama is directed by Zhao Jingtao, written by 10, didn't hear me wrong, 10 credited scriptwriters. It is led by Xiang Hanzhi, Yang Xuwen, and it's a drama based on another 爱奇艺 produced drama back in 2018, 1006房客, which was made in Taiwan and also founded by 爱奇艺. So basically, 爱奇艺 regurgitated its own IP and created this new version. The drama was filmed last year from September to November, mainly in the city Suzhou. It is a contemporary romantic with a little bit time travel element mingled in rather interesting drama. At the point I'm making this video, I've watched all 24 episodes, so this is a final review. I will give a rating of 2 gold mine with a slight inflation. The more accurate number for me is probably an 1.8, but since that's close enough to 2, let's just put it in the 2 gold mine category. And I put it there for a lot of reasons I'll tell you later. First though, let me introduce you to the rough outline of this story. The story starts with our male lead character, a very successful lawyer, renting an, in his opinion, run-down apartment, but not in any other human's opinion, due to his recent failure in career and getting kicked out of the law firm that he is a partner with. Immediately after getting into this place, he realized something weird is happening at night. A mysterious woman shows up in his apartment. Unbeknownst to him, this fate also falls on to a lady who rented his current apartment back in 2021 September, the previous tenant of this same apartment. And for some unknown reason, every night from 10:06 p.m. to 10:52 p.m., the same apartment but of different time and of different tenant, the girl and the boy, would collapse on top of each other and mingle. Even things in the same position would become half and half. So they soon realized the ghost or the psycho that they think the other person is just a person who occupies this space at a different time. And that starts a romantic relationship of these two people, but also an attempt of theirs to change something that seems to be destined to happen and not nice for either of them. That is my way of introducing the story to you without spoiling it too much. Now, let's talk about why I give this drama such a rating. As usual, let's first talk about the good things I like about this drama, and there are quite a few points. Point number 1, the most common things, production quality. Very, very, very acceptable contemporary production, pretty much free of common drama sins in Chinese dramaland, such as weird color grading, low contrast, super bright lighting, skin smoothing. Thankfully, this drama doesn't have that. Second point, this is script-wise a rather interesting story. It's unlikely that you will feel bored pretty much every moment something interesting happens, and for the length of 24 episodes, it actually doesn't drag in anyway. And some parts of the story is so interesting that you may want to go back and just loop it once more. Don't worry about watered down dragginess and unnecessary subplot and second couple to fill the line. No. It's actually a really comfortably paced and condensed drama. Number 3, if you're looking for a really lovely on-screen contemporary couple to ship, this one could work for you. If I have to score it with 100 as the full score, this is 75 to 80. That I would score this CP played by Yang Xuwen and Xiang Hanzhi. There's definitely rooms for improvement, but I really enjoyed it a lot. Particularly with this time travel story setup, you essentially have 2 guys and 1 girl. You watch it and you know it's the same guy but at a different time. The 3 people is a crowd, but not really a crowd situation. It has a very natural timeline development between the 2 characters from when they first met under such extraordinary circumstances. Definitely not have a good impression of each other. Moving on to getting to know each other and find actually, you're much better than I thought. Then getting to know, oh shit, we kind of met for a destined purpose, and if we don't solve that problem, shit happens. And then move to the point where I really fell in love with you. Now we're in a rather desperate situation, and we have very limited time to solve the problem, to the ending, which I actually really like. A very successful CP all in all, and I believe you will be entertained, and at necessary places your heartstring will be tugged by them. Fourth point, very small point, not a huge thing, but actually I enjoyed a lot, which is the male lead actor. He is a good clothes hanger for Suits. coats. I've recently just watched his other drama, Strange Tale of Tang Dynasty, where he's a period drama character who wears Tang Dynasty costume. I think he looks better in contemporary costumes. And he really suits suits, and he plays the elite lawyer, so he's kind of changing his suits all the time, every different episode, and it all looks stunningly good. If China ever remakes Goblin, just for the body shape and wearing clothes, part of the reason, he would be a really good fit. If you've watched the South Korean drama, you know, one of the attractive thing about that drama is the male lead and the second male lead, they both look really good. Fifth thing, kind of to do with the relationship that I've already talked about, something that I've recently mentioned in other drama reviews. And this happens to be the type of romantic dramas I prefer, which is a better balance of sweet and sour and sugar and broken glass. Some people would even argue whether the ending is broken glass. I don't think you could ever find a definitive answer in any time travel stories because you inevitably create paradoxes. So totally depending on how you look at it, it could be HE, it could be BE, happy ending, bad ending, but it definitely have a quite significant amount of broken glass, and I like it. I like it much more than all sugar, no glass. Final point on the positive end, time travel. A form of time travel, okay? It's more like time collapsing on each other. Two different timelines converge in a very specific way and giving also characters opportunities to right wrongs in the past and changing their, let's say, fate. It's really fun to watch for every specific setup of time travel, how it works, and then how you use it, take advantage of it, create drama, create conflict, create genius ways of solving problems, but also create tragedy and create comedy and everything. I like time travel stories. One of my favorite dramas in past couple of years is Someday or One Day, and that's a huge time travel drama. This one is a more mini time travel in terms of every day they can only get 46 minutes to do the job. But I really enjoyed how they played with the setup, very specific setup of the apartment, of the front door, of the back door, of particular related time, the particular day, September 2021 and then January 2022, and how all the days link and how it affects history and whatever. Very fun to watch. If I have to pick what I don't like about this drama, I hope they could have improved. There's one essential thing. Mostly happens on the writing of the female lead role. The acting is okay from Xiang Hanzhi. I don't think it's Oscar winning, but it does the job. In terms of on paper, she has way too much of a justified sense of justice and judgment on people, and you'd hope she could, in many occasions, step back a little bit, take a few moments, think through it before she utter the words. She's written as a little bit too naive and self-righteous person that could be very annoying, particularly in comparison to the male lead. Very high intellectual level and then very logical and cool thinking. She becomes too weak a character, not so on par with him. And in an ideal world, I would hope the script to portray this female role in a more matured way. Only on paper, okay, not because of the actress. Also, they used a dubbing voice for her instead of using Xiang Hanzhi's natural voice. This voice sounds much younger and bubblier than her natural pitch. Her pitch is lower. Had they used her real voice, maybe it would help to make her less of a too young to pair with the male lead situation. So that's the one thing. Not very significant, but if they improve on that, I would definitely give it a 2 gold mine without doubt. These are my opinions on the good and bad things about this drama without spoiling it. Now I'm gonna talk a little bit about the ending, about this particular drama's version of time travel, and then what I think of it, offering my opinion on it. So it definitely goes into spoiler territory. If you don't want to hear it, you can exit now. But I do hope you stay for the good statistics on this video for me. If you've watched this drama, you know at the end, it is a version of bad ending. The 2022 timeline male character disappears. His memory gets completely inherited by the 2021 male lead, and then the 2022 timeline completely gets reset. What initiated this whole thing in the beginning kind of got erased, and you start to run the main line on the 2021 leading up to the new version of 2022, where essentially the male lead character lived twice and fell in love with the female lead character twice. One is as the 2022 guy who went back in time to save her, one as the 2021 guy who met her in a different way and also grew to like her. So a lot of people are not very happy about that. When they want a perfect happy ending, they feel the 2022 male character still kind of just disappeared and he died and it's no longer him at the end of the story with our female lead. And I totally see that argument. And I think emotionally, if you feel that way, it's so reasonable. But then that got to the philosophical discussion of what constitutes you as a person, as an individual that's different from everyone else. Is that your memory? Is that your history? That whole philosophical question that everybody is asking since the beginning of time when human can think, depending on what you believe that constitutes you as an individual, ego, however you term it. You can choose to believe that the male lead character is always him, no matter if it's version 1, version 2, version 1, 2 combined, there is really no difference. Or you can think there's a definitive line, which is the 2022 line, and the 2021 just doesn't satisfy you. That's totally fine. But I want to offer you a way I just recently thought of, pretty much last night, to make it a really perfect solution and without going into the Marvel's way of solving things, which is if you change the past, you start a new timeline and you can only work in that timeline, the original timeline doesn't get touched. I don't like it. I feel emotionally that way of explaining things just never quite work because your starting point was the original timeline. And then once you move to a different line, even if you change and save people in that line, this line is still left open. The people are dead are still dead. And my version of the situation would be these two characters are destined to meet and they are destined to fall in love and they're destined to live a happy life. Let's just say the female lead not making it is a version that is wrong and it needs to be corrected. That's the premise. To do that, whether it's universe, whether it's their own merits of the past life, of their incarnations, the good karmas they've collected, however you explain that crane thing happened, giving them the opportunity to right the wrong and make it possible for them to live happily for this lifetime. It is like a particular type of math question where you work backwards. You cannot work forward to get your result, but then you make a hypothesis, and in that you have the ideal solution. And if that works well, then the previous steps work like that, and then you keep working back until you can fully get back, and then you say, okay, so I solved the problem. This drama is a version of the female lead not making it and they not meeting and not falling in love is the problem. And to solve it, universe creates a hypothesis, which is the 2022 timeline. The whole point of existence of in the beginning of the drama, the male lead picking that up in 2022 and start this collapsing of time is not real. It is a version of reality that only exists in theory. And using this hypothesis, you work your way back into the 2021 timeline, eventually solving it and making it all right and making the girls stay alive and the friends stay alive, not dying, and they fall in love and everything is perfect. That is what I decide I would believe in the drama's version of time travel. I'm just offering it for you to think about it and have fun. I really enjoy this drama and I bought into this couple, so I do want them to have a really happy life in the drama land. Also, there's one thing, I was rewatching the drama a couple of episodes last night. I noticed episode 19, there was a scene when the male lead and the female lead were sitting on this bench, and it's the 2021 version of the male lead explaining to her about entropy and what he thinks one life for another life, the balance of the energy of the universe. While they were talking about that theory, there was a stray cat walking in the background, a white cat, just like walking past quietly. I don't think you can direct a stray cat, so probably that was just an accident caught on camera. But it's so funny that they were talking about entropy. They were talking about their theory of time travel. The cat, which is a big symbol in popular understanding of quantum mechanics, the whole idea of the live and dead cat at the same time. Even if it is true that all possibilities exist, all timelines, all variations exist at the same time, once you observe, it collapses into one. And in this drama's version, I would make myself firmly believe it's a good one. It's the ideal one. It's the one where everybody gets what they want, the bad guy gets what he deserves, the good people get what they deserve as well. That version collapses down into our definitive timeline at the end of the story, when they lived to 2022, peacefully, happily watching fireworks and having a whole life ahead of them. That would be my read on the drama 我的秘密室友, literally meaning my secret roommate. Official title, Love in Time, a contemporary romantic time travel with a little bit of crime-solving excitement element drama that I have enjoyed a lot. That'll be the end of this video. If you want to hear me talk more about dramas, similar dramas, head over to this one. One of my favorite dramas in the last couple of years that's also to do with time travel and epic love story. Thank you for watching Avenue X. I'll see you in my next video. Meanwhile, live long and happy drama watching.